Welcome
Hello!
back. It's Posscast. We're digging through the
Welcome to the
sewers of
Posscast.
Reddit to bring you the worst D&D cringe, and we got some pretty big cringe. I still haven't gotten that plaque of cringiest story yet to put on display, but uh,
You'll get around to it. When,
yeah.
when once your tablet stops being weird.
Once it comes in the mail, because we are definitely not two-dimensional drawings. We are definitely actual possums here in this sewer. That's very real, with a vampire flap flap in the background.
No, what you see, what it is that your tablet is for CAD modeling.
Exactly.
We're 3D printing the trophy.
Yeah. All right. So, we got some delicious stories today. Not nearly as much as yesterday, because that triple feature each was probably not a good idea.
A
Uh,
doozy,
yeah,
in fact.
that did actually end up being our longest episode. I was wrong about
I
the
would imagine.
previous episode links. Anywho, and with how lackluster this week's option pool is, probably would have helped save some of those for this week. But oh well, hindsight is
Oh well.
2023. All right, so you want to go first or should I go first?
What do you think?
I'll go first.
Alright, I'll just sit here and eat some celery.
All right. So, this one is called "Gotta Love That Sweet Sweet Nepotism" by Asmalema as a small man. Uh, and it was posted 2 days ago with 50 upvotes.
Amazing.
I am relatively new to D&D, and one of my buddies tried a campaign, and it went about 5 sessions in. It just fell apart, but we were still friends. Plus, my buddy wanted to be a player and has been a DM for essentially 10 years straight. Oh, curse of the forever DM.
Piggy
Uh,
Rippy.
and he wanted a break. Understandable. So another friend of mine offered to DM, not, but on the condition that his wife could play. And I had some reservations, but I didn't feel a major need to voice them. Spoiler alert! Not saying anything was a huge fuck up on my part. So we have our session 0. Campaign is a Save the World homebrew campaign, and we all establish our characters as being more good aligned, or more good leaning, with the most morally ambiguous character being chaotic neutral, except for the DM's wife who goes chaotic evil. Everyone thought it was weird or odd to including the DM, but he let it slide. Whatever. So, problems begin in session 1. This is my second campaign ever. The DM's wife, just gonna call her B. Oh, I fucking hate that. Come up with aliases, even if it's just
Call her
colors.
Brenda.
No. No. Gonna call her Bish.
Alright.
Alright. Bish. Bish. Begins screwing over the party members immediately. Stealing gold from the PCs, items from the PCs, ambassador documentation, which one PC really needed, and being new and not used to just not metagaming. It was frustrating, and still pisses me off even now. But after a few sessions, Bish doesn't come to play. But doesn't quit. She claims she's usually busy, etc. Cool. We continue on our way with relative ease and far less difficulty and frustration. She was usually playing video games during our sessions because we could hear her scream at them in the background of the husband DM's mic. So we knew that she was available and very much not busy. Worse, she does want to continue to play, so we found out later that there were solo sessions between her and the DM to keep her caught up, which pissed the party off. Somehow, she got further in the story faster than we did, too, despite her being missing for about 2 months. The final straw was when we were on a journey to get some orb or something, and somehow we caught up with her. When she finally decided to play, her PC has a husband now, and she has a kid on the way. Something she tries to do in every game, which I find annoying personally, but I find it cumbersome for the party play. But her PC and in-game husband are acting suspicious as fuck. And so it naturally leads to the party confronting her, and the DM just kind of letting it happen. It continues to escalate, and then the DM starts to get irritated, but is not taking major steps to defuse it. Then she attacks my buddy's PC, and so on. And so naturally, he is going to retaliate. It is in his PC nature, honor and whatnot. But if that attack hit her, it would kill her without a shadow of a doubt. The DM screams at the top of my life, "Kill my wife, see what happens!" And it was not an in-game character. This was the DM out of game, mind you. I stopped the game. All of the party members are my friends. I've known DM and his wife for a year at most, and not anywhere as close to them as the other party members, and we all had a big meet with Jesus about that is not okay. That's favoritism, which we have already gotten pissed at you, and both pissed at for and wait, hold on, pissed at you for and both her and the NPC you were rolling for. Brought this up. There should be okay. Hold on. This is a confusing sentence. There should definitely be some kind of punctuation. Let me restart the sentence. That's favoritism, which we already got pissed at you for, and both her and the NPC you are rolling for brought this among yourselves. All y'all both could have stopped. She knows that she's going to get her attacked doing that shit. How could it not? And you make an NPC doing visibly suspicious stuff and throwing some kind of explosive at us is going to warrant a fight. And she and that NPC are clearly working together. But you don't kill other PCs, is his response. He makes other excuses. I essentially said, I was just rolling, bro. It left a really sour taste in the party's mouth, besides him and Jay. Who the fuck is Jay?
I think the friend that got attacked?
Well, no, the friend was Buddy. This is why you need, like, a list of characters at the beginning.
My buddy.
Yeah, but this is the first time.
I guess I'm gonna say Jay's probably the buddy.
Yeah, okay. This is why you need to have a list of characters and give them aliases other than just letters. And our party came to the conclusion that both could have stopped if they wanted, and was blatantly obvious a fight was going to start if they kept doing what they were doing, and they attacked first. So we make the decision to end the game in a private chat, not containing the DM or his wife. Because they are my friends, and they don't know the DM as well as I do, I just go ahead and break it to DM myself, which I didn't mind. Now, I call him and was professional about it. I said we feel like there are some things going on behind the scenes between him and his wife that we felt is unfair. And also that the whole final straw was essentially forcing our characters into a fight with his wife and then getting mega pissed when we could have stopped it a long time ago. And maybe I maybe spoke for a few minutes straight, trying to keep the water clear and not step on his toes and just air out the laundry. Nothing I said was personal or an insult. I said this all in a way, in such a way, and also made it known that maybe we could still play or do a different campaign, and we could all be friends, etc. Or we could find a new DM and all play together. Then this is almost exactly what he said. Yeah, so I plan to end the game anyway. You're all assholes and you play like shit. You almost killed a PC who is also my wife, and no one does that. I've been looking for different players anyways to replace you. And then hung up. That was it. No real discussion or why or how. Just essentially, fuck you, fuck your feelings, I'm right, you're wrong. The phone call lasted 3 minutes long, and only the last 10 seconds did he speak and just hang up. Now, I didn't even get a word in after he said that stuff. Now, I don't play anything with him or his wife anymore. In person, we don't even hang out, and I never really plan on talking to him or her again. We've known each other for 3 years, and that's how he treats me and my friends. I don't want his ass around. I have friends in his other campaign, and they told me not much has changed, and he has forced a few of them to be a different class because we have too many melee, so handicap you. Roll for disadvantage on all combat rolls, and or had them play a class they really didn't want to play. One has to make 3 separate characters because they're trying to join the campaign. Alright. So, favoritism. It's a real problem.
Yeah.
It's something if you're a DM and someone you're really good friends with, or is a significant other, is playing in a campaign, you really do have to be conscious about favoritism. I mean, this one, it was very conscious that he was playing favorites, but it's also very easy to fall into the trap of playing favorites without realizing it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's why you have to be very careful. Luckily, none of my boyfriends play in my D&D campaign. And I've known all the players for just about as much time as... Like, I don't think I've known any player particularly longer than the other.
True.
Yeah, so when you play favorites, that really brings down the morale of a group. Because when you're playing favorites, it gives the impression that nothing anyone else other than the favorite does actually means anything. And in a cooperative storytelling experience, which is what D&D is, not being able to participate or feeling like your participation means nothing is bad. Like,
Makes you feel bad.
yeah, whenever you play favorites, that essentially turns every other player other than your favorite into a sexy lamp.
Hey,
What?
be fair. Sometimes you get to be the comedic relief.
Yeah, okay. That's fair. But yeah. There's not much left to say about this other than, like,
Don't be shitty.
don't be an ass. Alright.
So many of our readings come down to don't be an asshole.
To be fair, that is what 90% of
That
these stories can boil
it
down
is the
to.
story though.
It's the
It is
nature.
the subreddit. It is the subreddit. This is
Yeah.
where people go to post stories of assholes that they've encountered.
Yeah. Or just random happenstance that it's very rare, but I do like the ones where it's just random happenstance that nobody was in control of. Like the person who had the worst luck ever. What was his name?
I don't know.
Okay. Anywho, you got a story?
I do. I have two of them, but I'll read one of them now.
Perfect.
Hmm. Have a little bit of water.
Water?
Hmm. Water. I have here a story. Warhammer RPG horror story with dark consequences IRL. Posted 16 days ago by user Desperate Solid 6348.
And how many upvotes?
Like 16.
Only 6. Jesus.
Eh.
This has not been a good month for or this has not been a good year for RPG horror stories. That being said, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, also because it's right after the holidays. Not a lot of
That's fair.
people are missing games for the holidays. I know I did.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
All right, so starting off the story. So here I am after so many videos of Crit Crab and Den of the Drake. I think about sharing my story for a long time now, and I know that one of my fellow players would love to see that on Reddit as well, so here we are. First, I have to explain the context. We're a group of players that used to play together for about 13 years now. We spend a lot of time on different types of games, including a lot of co-ops like Left 4 Dead, Vermintide, some MMOs, etc. We're all friends. I had the chance to really encounter 4 or 5 of the group in real life. We're French and Belgian, and we pretty much know everything of each other's lives. One day, I started to DM some Warhammer Fantasy RPG V4, the 4th edition, with another group of IRL friends, and I proposed to my internet friends to do the same. So, during a long time, I managed 2 groups with a totally different story. That was heavy work for a beginner DM, and I won't do it now if I imagined how much work it can be to DM a single group. But so here we go. I present the big lines. There's a lot of like. This is probably why it's not very upvoted. There's a lot of like. Obviously, you can tell that English is not the first language,
Yeah.
but oh well. It's understandable enough.
Yeah, yeah.
Here we go. I present the big lines about the old world, Warhammer universe, basic rules, racing class, etc. And we decide to create the characters. We chose Rule 20 Free Edition to start the game, and we begin with the Lich Master adopted for V4, as it was a V1 campaign. Group is as follows: uh, a Shalia's priest, an Ulrican warrior priest named Warrior Priest, a bounty hunter labeled as Good Guy, an elven wizard labeled as Elf, and a mystic, aka the problematic player. We begin just like a lot of RPG adventures in a tavern. Location isn't important. We present the characters, the ambiance, what's going on, and so on. I propose to the players to tell me what they want to do with the situation described. Not important. Just to take the temperature. Just to see how everyone's feeling. Elf decides to do a joke to some dwarves by ruining their beers. Priest and warrior priest talk about their religions, their differences, and different points of view on things. Good guy searches for a bounty nearby, and the problematic player tries to make some money playing fortune teller for the tavern customers. I understand during his speech that he didn't understand the main thing about his class and how the old world works, etc. Bleh. He doesn't understand the main thing about his class and how the old world works, etc. at this moment, because he really tried to modify with the future events with his prophecy. So I explained to him that he doesn't see the future. I can occasionally give him some further information on things, but as a DM, I can't let a player literally change the scenario as he wants. What would be the point to play a campaign to try to narrate the story with friends if he can do that? After a far too long debate for a first session, he finally accepts and we manage to go forward. Long story short, mission arrives. Mission arrives. They must move to another country to accept a job that will eventually really start the campaign events. Here we go. Sorry, I had to cough.
That's fine.
Uh, had some laughs while Elf tried to, for unknown reasons, steal the blankets of the inn, and then they moved to the first random encounter slash fight with bandits. Classic, but remember, I'm a beginner as a DM, and I really wanted to make everyone okay with combat rules. Sounds pretty good to me to start with, sounds pretty good to me to start with a simple bandit battle. Bandit leader with with a prize on his head to start something with a good guy, the bounty hunter, etc. Fight begins. Everyone's doing their part. Good guy lost the first fate point because of really shitty dice, and second problem for the problematic player. He literally tried to draw cards during the fight to, if I remember correctly, predict the enemy moves. Oh, that sounds
Ew.
stupid to you. No? Because it is. So I tried to explain to him that as he is engaged in hand-to-hand combat with someone, it would be really fucking hard to draw cards, and that he would really prefer to attack, dodge, or help the group. He started to cry about how useless his class is, drew his knife and at least drew his knife and at least started to fight back. He managed to kill his opponent, which was intentionally pretty weak. But third problem for the rest of the players, at least, spend the rest of his moves looting the corpse instead of helping his friends. Could be an okay attitude depending on the character you're playing, but in this case, nothing let us think that it was legit. I want him to do as he wants, but the rest of the group wasn't okay by sharing the rest of the loot with him at the end of the fight. Or wasn't okay by not sharing the rest of the loot. I don't know. Legit karma,
You know
whatever.
what I would do if I was the DM in that situation?
Next sentence. What's up?
If someone tried to loot a corpse in the middle of combat, I would have one of the other enemies like come over and just like fucking kick them off and be like, "Have some respect."
Have you no respect for the dead?
Exactly.
And then,
It's like, yeah. At least have some
who do you think would do it? Who do you think would do it? If
sushi,
one of our players was,
sushi,
yeah.
sushi.
Look, I didn't want to just come out and say, and then Sushi bites them and says no.
But that is what would happen.
That is what would happen.
Yeah.
All right. After that first fight, problematic player slash fortune teller sends me some messages and calls me to talk about his class, how fucking useless it was, and how he wants to change, etc. I listened to him as long as I could try to explain to him that literally not a single class was useless in Warhammer RPG or Warhammer Fantasy RPG. They're all more or less situational. Only the wizards seem broken to me, but that's another story. I managed to let him just change his character and do as if his first one never existed. All right, it's only like the second session. It's fine to retcon a character at that point, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the cold weather's giving me coughs too. My
Other
allergies
players
like
were okay.
crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if it's the cold weather doing it or just like maybe I'm eating too much sugar and it's making my spit thick or something. I don't know.
It's definitely the cold weather for me because I have not changed my sugar intake. I
Mm,
still drink as much sugar as I always have. Actually, I might be drinking less now that I switched over from soda to pink lemonade.
maybe. But what if you found pink lemonade soda?
I don't think the texture and taste would be compatible for me.
I know you mean mouthfeel.
What?
Texture?
Yeah? The texture of fizzy drinks?
Yeah, that's mouthfeel.
Yeah. You just seem so offended by my usage of the word texture.
Well, I think texture, I think of a solid or a semi-solid.
Yeah. Uh, Anywho,
Anyway,
yeah.
back to the story. After that first fight, oh right, yeah. I managed okay, yeah. Other players were okay with it, so no need to dramatize. We only played 2 sessions with nothing important. They're all discovering the universe, so okay. Chill out, let them play a new one. That's when the fourth problem happens, and God, it wasn't a small one.
Oh boy.
His new character was literally pun of Elf and a well-known dictator of Germany. I'll try to let you find out the
No!
character's name.
No!
Yeah,
Is it like Adelph?
probably.
Oh
That or Adolf
no.
Hitler.
I think Adolf Hitler would be a better
It's pro
pun.
it's probably Adolf Hitler.
Yeah. Although, considering how stupid this person sounds, I wouldn't put it past them to miss the obvious pun.
Yeah, but missing the obvious pun makes it funnier by subverting your expectations.
No, I think missing the obvious pun just makes it stupid.
It's already stupid.
Stupider.
More stupidierist.
Yeah.
Alright. As we always had some kind of dark humor, I made a mistake by accepting this. I have to premise that he also photoshopped an image of Legolas mixed with you know who for his portrait.
I'm imagining
Actually,
just.
I still find this funny at some point, but the red flag was definitely raised.
That would definitely raise a lot of red flags in my campaign. Considering in my campaign, elves do not grow facial hair.
Yeah, if there was an elf with a little toothbrush mustache, it'd be very suspicious. I'd say that's a
It's a
changeling.
postage stamp mustache. Charlie Chaplin made it popular.
That was
And,
called toothbrush.
no, it's postage stamp.
I think they're the same.
We'll look it up later.
All right.
Yeah, Charlie Chaplin popularized it, and then like 2 years later, it was no longer popular for obvious reasons.
Yep. So here we are. Fortune teller becomes hunter by magic, and we continue. During 2 sessions, no incident, and I started to think there's no big incident, so I started to think we could continue like this. But then they reached the first village. I let them explore it, talk to the NPCs, more or less prepared depending on their importance, and they eventually searched for a room to sleep at night. So they approached the milkmaid of the village, a pretty mature widow. First thing, nothing was done to sexualize anything, but some men want to be men even in the RPG, and I have no problem with the romantic RPG. So I let them do I let them do what they want, as long as we don't play some weird scenes, etc. Two players trying to charisma dice to charm her in problematic player one, or etc. Two players try charisma charm charisma dice to charm her. Problematic player one. So I let him know that she was receptive to his flirt. Nothing wrong happened at first. During morning, or then morning shows up while the while the milkmaid was milking the cow. Problematic player tries to replace the cow pie with his pie, if you know what I mean.
Ew.
Second big red flag. I think that means he
Oh,
wanted to get
okay. I thought
a
you.
not not poop.
Okay, so then that means he was just looking for a handy then.
Yeah, utter.
Yeah.
As I said, our humor's already fucked, so we laughed, but I refused that one for obvious reason. Who the fuck wants to play that kind of scene? Blah blah blah, story continue, quests begin, and And as we were talking about what the players can or can't do with their skills, we reached the ultimate thing that triggered problematic player. I maybe or because I may have forgotten precisely that every time I tried to explain to him something awful he did, he'd just cry for hours, and how I was always criticizing him for no reason. Nearly if I was ostracizing him for free, etc. Again, boy, really scraping a little. It's a good story, but also give give your give your stories a once over after you type them.
Have a friend proofread it.
Yeah, proofread your stories, folks.
Yeah.
This is like not to diss on you, Desperate Solid, but come on,
Yeah.
man,
A,
proofread.
yeah, I had a similar issue in the one I read, because there was one that desperately needed some punctuation in the middle of the sentence, and that
Yeah.
was throwing me off. Commas are important people.
Yep. Multiple times I explained to him that this wasn't the case, and that, as the DM, I had to hold the coherence of the universe and make sure everyone's having fun and the story continues without railroading them too much. But he didn't believe my explanations, even when the other players tried to explain the exact same thing. Then he just decides that, as a hunter, he exactly knows how to craft a real and badass longbow, just like those used by English archers during the Middle Ages, etc. I didn't allow that.
I don't think it was the hunters that made those. I think it was
No,
probably the
hunters know how to
craftsmen.
use. Yeah, hunters know how to use the bow. The people who make bows are called bowyers.
Oh, nice.
They
I
also
didn't,
make bolts
which makes sense.
and arrows.
I think arrows were made by Fletchers.
True.
Yeah. I didn't know the exact word for someone who made a bow, so I just said craftsman, which is still an accurate umbrella term.
Yeah. Papa. I explained to him that actually crafting a longbow is probably fucking difficult for someone that literally never tried. You may understand, of course, the principles of a bow, but you don't understand how they bend the wood like that, nor how they preserved its solidity during the process, etc. So I just told him, okay, you can craft a bow, but it will never be a weapon as efficient as those you can buy or see in the hands of a professional military archer. And then he, just like every time, began to cry how I was nerfing his character. I
It's
wasn't allowing him to have fun, blah blah blah.
it's not a
Everyone
nerf to it's not a nerf if you tell someone that their character can't do something that they cannot do. Like,
Yeah, unless you're like in your backstory and in your skills have the ability to craft,
yeah, most importantly
then
the
you just
skills.
like sure you can grab some random guy off out of a fucking shooting range and ask him, how does a gun work? What goes into making a gun? But then if you ask him to construct a gun from scratch,
Well, we live
he'll
in
be like
Texas.
okay, I mean the best I can do is get some pipes.
Yeah. You know,
The best I can do is make a slam shotgun
the
where you
best
have just like sliding, where you just have a tube that slides over another tube and you just
yeah.
slam the back of a shotgun shell into a fucking screw.
The best I can do is make a pipe shotgun that's still efficient enough to kill a Japanese prime minister.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, former prime minister.
Yeah. Well,
We
former
don't know
now.
if it. No, he was former at the time as well.
What? When did he step down?
He stepped down like a couple years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
All I know about the situation is that it was done because he supported a cult which made the assassin's mother lose
Uh.
everything.
Ah. He stepped down in 2020, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway. Yeah, if you don't know how to do something, it's not enough to say that you're not going to be able to do it effectively.
Yeah.
Like when you were trying to repair the gun in Tapir, and uh, I
With Tinker tools, mind you,
yeah
or with thieves' tools. I
yeah
should. Ideally, I would have been using Tinker's tools, but
Yeah.
we were out on sea.
And I told you you could either fail to. You rolled really good. I said that,
I did.
but even with that good roll, because you're not a gunsmith and you don't have tinker's tools, I told you that you could either make a little bit of progress on both, or you can fix one fully using the parts of the other, but the other would be unusable.
Yeah,
And
so obviously I chose to cannibalize one for working parts for the other.
yeah, you just follow
And
forward that shit.
yeah, and then probably look for like some pens for springs.
Yeah.
Nah, we
Uh,
don't have spring-loaded pens. That's too fancy and expensive.
yeah. You'd have to go straight to McRear
You'd
to buy
either have
that.
you'd either have to find someone skilled enough in extruding metal to make a screw, or an artificer that can fabricate them.
Yeah. Like I said,
Both
for
of
for
which you will find in great supply in the wondrous kingdom of McCreer.
I don't think technically it's a kingdom. I'd have to look at. I think it has a.
Maybe it's a republic.
I'm pretty sure it's a republic. I'd have to double check.
All
Uh,
right,
yeah. Back to the.
story. Back to it. There's still a bit.
Yeah.
All right. Woohoo. Everyone agrees with me, but him. I didn't change my mind this time because he's clearly trying to be some kind of PGM.
Player GM.
PGM. Oh, play some kind of player GM capable of ruining my entire efforts to propose something cool and coherent. But I underestimated how upset he was because next session he tried to do everything eventually capable to piss me off. Bad talk any NPCs, for example, but with words that were intent to me. That kind of thing. I didn't let him as he wanted and stay pretty calm. Or I didn't let him get his way and I stayed pretty calm. But I played his game and started to bully him with skeletons. I know, it's childish, but he pissed me off. That's a good example. Don't piss off your DM or they will send skeletons after you.
Yeah.
If you are intentionally being a shit, the DM can and will send skeletons after you, and your party will tell you you deserved it.
Yep. By the way, yes.
Woo, woo,
It
woo,
is a
woo.
republic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Uh, After that last game, we're around 10 sessions at 3 to 4 hours each. I received a ton of messages explaining how mean I was and how many efforts I put in to ruin his life. Because now we reach the point that there's something we must absolutely talk about right now. He was our former friend, but he recently joined a sect. Like a real sect.
Like a
In real
religious?
life. Yeah.
The fuck? What?
Explaining to us that he didn't talk to his family anymore because of it. Explaining to us that the Earth was ruled by giants and that Atlantis still exists, but has
So
been destroyed as a punishment for their perversion on children.
So that's a pretty sure that's a cult. Because one of the first thing cults do to new members is isolate them from their friends and family. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So that sounds like a
What's
cult.
the acronym? What's the acronym?
Oh, the bite model:
BITE.
behavior, information, thought, and emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Some kind of real big bullshit that only a cultist can believe. How
exactly.
much science was wrong, and of course his guru knows the real science. We really stayed calm and tried to talk with him a lot about those sectarian excesses, and he just put that in our Warhammer RPG to share his beliefs and his shitty behavior. After that message spamming, he deleted the Discord where we used to all play together. He unfriended every one of us from social medias and the gaming apps, and even now he just disappeared from the internet. We've never heard from him since.
He's probably dead.
Last session, maybe. Last session, I made his character die just to get rid of the past, and we managed to finish the campaign in a way cooler ambiance. Almost too
Uh,
late. almost 2 years later, we're still playing the same characters, and eventually everyone's having fun. Even when someone does something awful for the rest of the group, something that can happen in pretty much every TTRPG, we talk about that and try to fix things with kindness. P.S. Sorry for my English, and please, don't let a real cultist ruin your game. It's not as fun as it sounds.
Yeah. You know,
Someone in the comments, Adelph? Was his name Adelph? Unfortunately, yes. I knew
oh,
it, LMAO. Terrible.
yeah. Called it. Uh, God.
Man.
So, yeah, that's a really cringe player, using an emotional state to, gaslight the DM into,
Letting
uh,
him get his way.
yeah, that's really toxic and manipulative. And if one of your players, like, does that, just kick him out. You don't owe these kinds of people the privilege of playing in your game.
Why?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's goddamn.
But yeah, it's amazing that they managed to last 2 IRL years with the same characters.
I mean, Tapir's been going on for
Yeah,
two.
but Warhammer though.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Anything else to
Don't
say?
forget, Warhammer. Don't join a cult. Don't
Yeah,
forget, Warhammer. Warhammer has a community of ninja rats that turn into goo when they die, so they can't get so you can't get any secrets from them.
are those the ones that can like shove rocks down your mouth to turn you into rats?
That's
That's not an actual
that's
thing.
no, it's not an actual thing.
I don't know how
I
Warpstone
mean,
works. I don't
there's
play Warhammer.
well, with how Warpstone works, that is one of just an infinite amount of possibilities that could happen. It's
Ah,
just
okay.
more likely that you'll turn into some sort of hell beast.
Ah, okay.
Though Clan Molder does do experiments. They did put a human brain into a rat ogre,
Okay. Uh,
given the human brain was a warrior of corn. So
yes. Corn. My favorite vegetable.
yes,
I don't even think corn's a vegetable. I think it's like a grain.
it's a grain. It's a starch.
Yeah.
Corn's the blood god,
Ah, blood for the blood god.
and skulls for the skull throne.
Exactly. Is that actually what it's from?
Yeah,
Oh, I never knew what it was actually from. I just remember anytime. I just remember like the super best friends would just say that anytime a blood god was mentioned in a game, like Predator Concrete Jungle.
yeah. It's from Warhammer.
Okay. Damn it! I accidentally referenced the actual thing it was instead of.
Yep,
Okay.
you nerd.
I'm not a nerd.
Can't
I
you
didn't
see the
know that was an
Can't you
actual.
see the cultural osmosis of Warhammer on nerd culture?
That's fair. All right. So.
Why else do you think dwarves hate elves?
Tolkien.
Yes, but also Warhammer.
I can't
They
believe
hate elves.
Tolkien played Warhammer.
I mean, I think Lord of the Rings was like
Yeah, 1920.
one of many dwarf.
Yeah.
Anyway, elves suck. On to the next
Goddamn knife ears.
story.
All right. Okay. So, this one's called "Jealous Problem Player Tries to Steal Another Player's Girlfriend." It was posted by OK Locksmith 6673. It was posted 2 days ago and has 393 upvotes. Hello, people of Reddit. I'm here to tell you about a problem player who almost derailed the campaign I am a part of. Using a throwaway account as one of the people involved is Among Us, but isn't part of this subreddit.
Us.
Among Us! Among Us! Sus. Uh, so, a few warnings before we get started. This is my first time posting, so I apologize in advance
Yeah.
if it isn't formatted or told well. I would also like to give fair warning here that this is probably going to be a lengthy story, and that there is a lot of details I thought were important to include, but some may disagree with what's relevant and what isn't. Also, it's marked as not safe for work due to language and themes. Let's start with some brief context. This was a D&D campaign started not too long ago that a good friend of mine was DMing during our college semester. The campaign was on Roll20, and we were going to meet up over Discord to play. DM told me everyone that was going to play, everyone that was going to be playing, and two of the members were people that I already knew. They were mutual friends between us, and they have relevant parts to the story, so we'll call them Max and Jessica. Yay! Reasonable aliases.
Hooray.
None of that single letter bullshit.
Tell
Uh,
us about Max and Jesse.
the other three players have most of the
Maxwell.
story revolve around them. Uh, they are Derek, his girlfriend Mary, and the problem player, Goober. Uh,
Goober.
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 Goober. Boggle.
Goober.
Uh,
Boggle.
Boggle. Sunday,
Jackal.
Sunday, Sunday, and Saturday. I love that video.
Seeking.
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 Hedges and clippers and hedges and clippers.
Using clippers.
Uh.
Be there. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is my first time hearing of Derek and Mary, but I have crossed paths with Goober before. We were both art majors and had a lot of the same classes together. We usually work on
We were
homework and
roommates.
oh my god, they were roommates. We usually work on homework projects, and we could, but never really evolved beyond acquaintances. Goober was not particularly social and was fairly awkward. She was also trans. Um,
Oh.
yeah. All right. Uh,
Diversity win. The problem player is trans.
yeah. Do you think Goober used girl power efficiently when she derailed this entire campaign?
Uh,
Last time we spoke was about 2 years ago when I rejected her asking me on a date. It was nothing against her, I just didn't think we connected on the same level as she did. She didn't take it too well and kind of exploded on me. This was in person, and I don't remember exactly what she said, but the gist of it was she called me an anti-progressive, homophobic. Uh, she called me anti-progressive and homophobic, even though she knew I was bisexual, who was open about my support for LGBT movements. She later texted to apologize, but I never responded. These details will be relevant to the story. A few hours before session 0, we were all invited to DM's Discord group chat made for the campaign. Goober PM'd me soon after joining.
Uber.
Goober. Hey OP, I just wanted to apologize in advance for the way I treated you. It was very bad of me to act like that, and I'm not good at rejection. Can we put it past us? Me. Sure thing, Goober, I understand. Okay, real quick,
Growth.
something about me is that I have some serious anxiety issues and a huge fear of confrontation. This is not an excuse for some of my choices later, but it is some insight as to why I let some things happen or act in a certain way. Goober. Thank you very much. I'm kind of nervous about D&D, to be honest. Oh, is it your first time playing? No, I've played a lot of times, but it was in another group of people that I knew really well, or so I thought. They kicked me out for being trans, and I'm nervous because of the new people I'll meet there. Oh, wow, I'm sorry to hear that. DM is a nice guy, though, and he won't kick you out over something like that. He seemed nice. Yeah, how did you meet him? Well, there was a D&D thing on campus and we bumped into each other. He told me he was DMing a campaign and invited me after I told him the situation I was in. Oh, that's great. I think that we'll have a lot of fun. We have more small talk, that isn't relevant to anything before DM announces session 0 starting. We all join in around the same time. Derek and Mary have their cameras on. Now, I don't want to go into detail because it would be weird, but as a bisexual, I can say that Derek and Mary were quite attractive people, and as we soon found out, Goober thought the same. DM, hello,
Uh-oh.
guys! Uh, do we need to have cameras on? No, not if you don't want to. Okay, good. Yep. And now, just an FYI, at Goober's request, I will be recording these sessions because she prefers to rewatch or listen to the videos rather than have notes with the party. I don't like dealing with discombobulated information being thrown onto a document at once by like 5 people. Luckily,
Hey, we avoid that by having me be the only one who takes notes.
and occasionally Chalkfee.
Yeah, when I ask her to, because I have to leave the fucking voice call.
Yeah. Does anyone have issues with this or not wish to be a part of it? I won't be sharing it with anyone outside this group. We all said we were fine with it and got down to session 0. DM gets some introductions out of the way for the new three, and explains the idea of Roll20. He then helps us all get into D&D Beyond campaign, where he offers to make our character sheets. He has almost every book bought, and you can assign characters to people in your campaign manually. So he basically wanted us to have as much content to work with. We go around and make our sheets with races, class, spells if needed, and then he sends it to us, and we can make our backstories and appearances and whatnot. Here's the lineup of the whole party if anyone's curious. Me, a wood elf female ranger. Max, a tiefling male warlock. Jessica, a male human monk. Derek, a male warforged artificer. Mary, a female high elf wizard. Goober, a female high elf fighter. Who the fuck has a elven fighter?
I mean,
They're
good for her,
twigs!
I guess.
Yeah, good for her, but that is Max Minning.
Fun
Uh,
character trait. I
yeah,
like characters with challenge.
that's fair. I do
That's why
want
Levere has 9 wisdom.
I do want to make a Kenku barbarian that was raised by gnolls at some point, because I saw a picture of like a couple hyenas like inspecting an egg, and it gave me the idea of like gnolls raising a Kenku.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So I will spare the backstories because they have really nothing to do with the context of this. So after that is done, everyone is given a chance to look at each other's character sheets and read backstories and such. Goober PMs me again. Uh, Girl, look at Mary. She's a queen. She's also Derek's girlfriend. Yeah, I know. Wouldn't it be funny if her character got into a relationship with mine instead of Derek? Uh, no. Oh, come on. It would be a classic case of irony, lol. Oh, look, I can't tell if you're joking or not, but if you aren't, that's not okay. Yeah, it's a joke. Sorry, I forgot I have a rare sense of humor. Okay. Uh,
Oh yeah, your sense of humor, totally.
yeah, it's definitely not Schrodinger's joke where you're serious until people don't like what you say, and then it's only joking. Uh,
I wish to destroy Bong Shapiroid.
yeah. Uh,
Alright, on with the story. My
uh,
hatred of this little man needs no words.
yeah. Ben Shapiro, we mean.
Yeah.
Such a disingenuous fuck. Uh,
The story.
Yes, yes. I thought that was going to be into that, but I was wrong. Goober had a plan. As she speaks out after a few moments. I noticed that my character is the only trans one, but that's okay. I saw that coming. I also see that I'm the only one who's listed their character's sexuality. I think it would be cool if everyone else did too. This is where I made the biggest mistake and partially caused the whole avalanche. I should have stopped here and brought her message up to the DM. It was pretty clear where she was going with this, and I didn't have anything at the time because I genuinely felt sorry for what happened to her in her last group and didn't want her to feel like we were going to kick her out too. On top of the issues, and I have mentioned above, this one's on me. I'm an idiot. I have a big portion of blame on my shoulders. Anyway, the group didn't really see a problem, but Derek was iffy and spoke out. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but, why? I was just thinking that it'd be a good way of adding more depth to each other's characters. It also opens up the suggestion of making the party more diverse. I mean, it would be real boring if we were all straight, am I right? Well, I'm not gonna decide for everyone, but I'm not gonna go in depth with that because my character's a robot. So, he can have romantic or sexual feelings for people. Theoretically, yeah, but I don't want that. I'm playing an artificial construct that gains sentience. Sexual or romantic relationships are not something he's interested in. There, that's asexual. That doesn't count. What?
Oh God.
Hate this person. So I am asexual. I am not sexually attracted to people. And so people saying that it doesn't count or it's not real pisses me off a lot. That doesn't count. How does that not count? Okay. Uh, okay. The DM steps in. Okay. Hey, you two. Let's stop this. Everyone is free to make their own character the way they want. We don't need to suggest anything about it. They both agree and finish section 0 by setting roll 20 up. Session 0, not section 0.
Is that on you or them?
Them.
Gross. Proofread your stories,
Please,
people, or
please.
I will
This is
continue to read them.
This is 3 for 3 with glaring errors.
Oh well.
Yeah.
It didn't stop it from getting what 160 something upvotes.
I'll scroll up afterwards to check because I don't want to lose my place. By setting up roll 20, we say our goodbyes, and I was so worried about Goober feeling accepted here, so I PM'd to check in. How do you think session 0 went? It went alright, but I'm a little bummed out by the party lineup. Well, how so? Well, Mary specified her character straight. Now my character's gonna have to convert her. She honestly deserves better than
Gross.
Derek, but I would treat her the way she deserves to be treated. She's acting like a nice guy. Can you not make those jokes? Also, that makes Mary the only straight character, which makes our party extremely diverse. I mean, Max's character is gay, Jessica's bisexual, and I think we have a good set. Derek doesn't have an LGBT character. His character is ace, so yes, he does. His character's only ace as an excuse to hide as LGBTQ, but not have to be gay. He's probably a bigot at
The
best.
worst kind of.
I really hate this sentiment because I have encountered people with this.
These fucking Twitter gays and their fake.
These are the same kind of ideology that like TERFs and people who are like drop the T, drop the B are like those people who claim that bisexual people are just straight people trying to wiggle into the LGBT community. I hate them.
Yeah.
Hate those people who do that.
He's playing Arrow Ace. He doesn't want to be anyone's boyfriend.
Yeah. His character's only ace as an excuse to hide as LGBT but not have to be gay. He's a bigot at best. What? That's a pretty big conclusion to jump to. He's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, cis-white guy. I may be wrong, but it's a very strong chance he's a bigot. Okay, look, that's not fair. You told me earlier that you don't take rejection well, and I think you may be overreacting to this because you feel like an idea of yours was rejected. No, I can tell these things about people. Maybe you're right. No, but maybe you're right. I'm just gonna take some time to process this. Alright, talk to you later. Bye. I should most definitely have gone to the DM with this, at this rate. But I had hoped that it would blow over, and she would move on. I was dead wrong, and yes, must state that it was very stupid of me at the end. So over the next couple of weeks, we have a few sessions. We were fairly good with a lot of complications, and for brevity, I will not include them. I will say that there were a few small moments where Derek and Goober clashed, but I'll only include the summary of 4 major points that occurred. The first time was when the character introductions, when Goober, in character, flirted with Mary, with the fact that they were both high elves. Mary wasn't sure how to respond, and Derek politely asked her not to do that again. Goober left the session early after that. Left the sessions early after that. Pretty minor compared to the other 3, but still important. The second instance needs some context. Derek was playing a lawful evil. Derek was the only lawful evil in a party of good aligned characters. He was not afraid of playing an evil character and doing evil things as long as it wasn't being disruptive. Being lawful evil, he was loyal to the party as they were made his allies by circumstance. He would go along with his majority rule decision, even if they were against his character's alignment or belief. This was supposed to be the start of his evil to good arc. When the party members failed a check they were supposed to specialize in or do a good deed or something along those lines, he would, in character, belittle the party members. I would also like to add that he wasn't targeting anyone. He just kept it equal throughout the party to the best of his ability. And to his credit, he was often pretty creative with his insults. I'm assuming Meatbag was one of them. You know?
Must be.
Yes. God,
He's a nerd.
Yeah, of course. He's a nerd playing a Warforged, an evil Warforged. He has to call them Meatbag at least once. No one saw this as an issue. We all liked the change of pace and the presence of a no goody-goody bringing depth to moral dilemmas and such. Goober, on the other hand, didn't seem thrilled whenever she was the target. However, she never said anything or expressed any dislike of it until this one time. Goober bragged in character about having a high intelligence for a fighter, 14 int at level 1, and stopped Derek from making an arcana check on a magically sealed door. Goober, stand aside, you simple machine. As a high elf, I know magic. I don't need you thinking for us. Even as a warrior, my intelligence is leagues above that of common soldiers. My apologies, Elf. By all means, determine the classification of the magic surrounding this door. Alright, roll Arcana. 2 + 2 for a 4. Well, that's tough. Had to beat a 5. Derek, your turn. 18 in total. Yeah, you deduced that the basic warding spells surrounding... You deduced that there's basic warding spells around the door, and you dispel them too. Well, I shall say I am impressed. It's not every day I meet an elf with an intelligence to match an ogre. I swing at Derek with my... It is great.
It's fucking funny.
It is. That is creative. They weren't lying. I swing my rapier at Derek, 17 to hit. Sorry, no PvP, unless both players agree. Derek? I would rather not. Okay, no PvP then. Goober did not like this. She said goodnight to us
Oh
and
my god.
she said goodnight to us and left the session immediately. The
Oh
DM,
my god. Not only is she like all the other all the problematic behavior, but she's also one to just immediately start PvP
yeah,
whenever they're
unprompted.
slightly wronged.
Yeah. I mean,
Everybody knows you just keep a small journal and you write down his name and a tally mark.
yeah. And you have to,
And then at the end of the campaign you burn the book and scream his name out to the heavens as you damn his soul.
yeah. Or you wait for or you discuss with a DM a potential betrayal against them.
Perhaps.
All right. Goober did not like this. She said goodnight and left the session immediately. The DM reached out for her the next day, and they both concluded that for the campaign's sake, Derek would not RP with her in that manner anymore. Boo. Uh,
Boo.
with when this was brought to Derek, he mentioned that the insult was targeted at Goober's character and not at her, but apologized and agreed nonetheless. Now, here is a huge problem. After that happened after. Goober started trying to belittle Derek after this almost almost anything she could over almost anything she could. Uh Derek called her out for being rather hypocritical, which caused her to scream "No!" while banging the table. The DM ruled that there would be no banter like this for anyone. Wow, way to ruin the game, Goober.
Ugh.
Witty banter and friendly insults amongst the party is the glue that holds them together.
Exactly.
Yeah,
How would Chokfi know that Levere and Sushi have a sibling rivalry
yeah,
if he didn't call her jokingly call her princess every now and then and tug on her tail to make her stop doing dumb shit.
yeah. And how would Levere know that Sushi has a sibling rivalry with him if she didn't constantly try to trip him or make jokes whenever you roll really bad, which is often.
It is quite often. That's why I have the lucky feet.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's not going to be common anymore soon.
Hopefully, I
Hopefully.
still need to carve that sigil.
Yeah, we're doing magic to fix Biddy's luck.
Or summoning a demon with my blood.
Yeah. It's a demon of luck. Uh, no more banter for
And
anyone.
no, I'm not going to. I can't say that on the channel.
All right. The third instance was when we reached level 4. Derek chose the Armorer as his subclass at level 3 and reached an int of 18. If you're unfamiliar with the Armorer Artificer, they get Thunder Gauntlets that do 1d8 damage and use int as a modifier to hit. On top of this, he had a dex of 14 with magic infusions on his starter scale male. They misspelled. Okay.
Oh well.
And a shield he bought. This meant that his spell attacks and melee attacks had +4 modifier to his AC, and his AC was now 21. Goober, on the other hand, chose the Battle Master. Not sure why. As an elf, she was building a dex-based fighter, but but instance 2 stuck with her. But instead, wait, hold on, what? Okay, Dex fighter, but instance 2 stuck with her, and she focused her ability point increase in getting int int 16 rather than upgrading her Dex. Okay, that's an awkward sentence.
It's an awkward sentence, but also just so that she can try to be smarter than someone else. She
Yeah,
completely avoided upgrading her own idea of how her class is going to be done Dex-based fighter, come on, just play a rogue.
Yeah, or a bard. Um, so with her +1 leather armor and her shield, she sat at 17 AC. Before this, she was a tank and a striker, and was very proud whenever these feats came into play. But now Derek had overtaken both aspects that had made her character special, not including the Battlemaster dice, of course. She ended up leaving another session early after Derek saved the party from defeat. We had been in an extended fight against a pack of lizard folk. Derek was the last party member standing due to his AC and punched his way to victory. Goober made an audible sigh as she had and said she had some homework she forgot about before leaving. The fourth and last instance was what broke the camel's back. During this section, Derek informed us that one of his projects was due that night, and while he was done with his portion, he would be on call to help his group members finish theirs if needed. The party agrees with him regardless, and so we did. Luckily, right after reaching a town, Derek got a call and said he would return later. The DM says that we're free to wander the town and do as we wish. Goober PMs me again. Do you think it would be more romantic to walk through the town or the woods? Oh, why are you asking? Just wondering. Think it depends on the person. What do you think Mary would prefer? What the fuck? No! What? She's Derek's girlfriend. It's bad to do that. And not for long. Also, it isn't bad. It's my character getting with her character, just like Derek's character supposedly insulted my character and not me. Plus, he isn't even there this time. That isn't the same. Don't do this. These are recorded, remember? I didn't get a response, and my anxiety was through the roof. Mary told the DM that she was going to head to the town's library. Goober wasted no time saying that she would also like to go to the library. I approached.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on.
what?
Did you catch that one little in Goober's response?
Yeah, the one where she was like trying to be snarky about. Oh no, it's just with her character. And not her.
No.
Oh, what?
No. In response to saying she's Derek's girlfriend,
Oh yeah, not for
her
long.
response was not for long.
Yeah, that's ominous. That's some supervillain shit right there. And
Goodness fucking gracious.
yeah.
Boy.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
I approached Mary and asked if she would like to go on a walk together. No thanks. I'd rather stay here. It's just a short walk. I want to admire all the gorgeous things around here, including you. No thank you. Oh, come on. I know you're into men, but why don't you let me show you what a woman's love is like? Okay, I am not comfortable with that. Please stop. Come on, try it. You might like it. Goober! Goober, stop. What? It's not real. It's just my character and hers. Goober, I am serious. This is... I'm sorry, what's the issue? Derek had returned unannounced. Oh, thank God, thank you. Derek, or no, Goober, are we gonna have a problem? Sorry, I'm Derek. Goober, are we gonna have a problem? Silence. Are we? This is fucked up. Mary told you no. Among other obvious reasons, her saying no is enough for you to stop. Fuck off. You don't even want our characters to be together just because you won't be able to stand lesbians in the campaign, you homophobe. I'm sorry, what? You're making advances on my girlfriend, and it's making her uncomfortable. How is me telling you to stop homophobic? Now I got some fucking news for you, buddy. You don't know me, and you have no right to label me like that for defending my girlfriend from you. I don't need to know you. I can tell just by looking at you sweaty. It says sweetie, but I added the sweaty. Alright. This is not an adequate... That is not an adequate source to draw conclusions from. Oh, and here we go with the fancy talk of you. So, are you a transphobe as well? Trans people aren't smart enough to see things in people now. You think you're so much smarter than everyone else just because you're a proper straight white man and an engineer. I mean, how can I deny that you're obvious? How can I deny your obvious superiority, my lord? With your super not generic at all asshole evil robot guy, who tried so hard to make a better character than me. Fuck off, you piece of garbage shit human. Okay, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? Where the fuck is this coming from? Honestly, it doesn't matter. This tells me the exact kind of person you are. You're just a fucking jealous, spoiled brat with a tiny, infantile mind who can't stand not getting whatever the fuck she wants. How dare you say that to me? Fuck you and fuck your ugly ass bitch for dating you. Jesus, she went full nice guy.
She
Uh,
went full nice
yeah,
guy.
yeah. Oh, hey, you're very pretty. What? You don't want to date me? Sorry, I was lying. You're ugly.
You're
Uh,
ugly and I hate you.
God damn. Goober leaves the call and the group chat, and we are left in
Good.
silence. I'm really sorry about that. No, don't apologize, bro. Shit was fucked. She
Bitch
had,
was fucked.
yeah. She had no right to do any of that. Yeah, but I really hate losing my temper like that. Everyone's alright. I think we should probably end it here. We all agree, and I PM Derek and Mary, apologizing for not taking action sooner. We showed the Discord messages between us. It was the least I could do at the moment. They both tell me it was fine, and then Mary told me that she was also had confrontation issues and understood my position. I still felt guilty to this day. I really should have spoken up from day one. On a brighter note, the campaign continued despite Goober leaving. DM just adjusted a lot of things to accommodate the lack of a player, and we are still on this campaign to this day. Goober messaged
Ooh,
me a few
nice.
days after, apologizing and how she was just testing to see if she could fully be herself. I sent a screenshot to the group chat, and we all had a laugh. I wanted to send an assertive message to her, but my confrontation anxiety came up again. And I told the group chat, I told the group, and Derek suggested sending one while on a call with the party. We set a time, and I sent her the message stating that I no longer wished to talk to her anymore, and that I did not want to have her contact me. It really didn't help to have. It really did help to have everyone there, even if I wasn't the person even if it wasn't in person. And I'm thankful for what they did. It took a lot of courage to post this here, and I am thankful to anyone who reads this. Hopefully, this can help some people understand the importance of bringing up things with the DM or the table, even if it means getting angry or confrontational with them. TLDR. Problem player grows jealous of another player and labels him as a transphobe and homophobe for not letting them hit on his girlfriend. Oh boy.
Boy, oh boy.
This person is
Like I said near the beginning, diversity win. The problem player is trans.
yeah. So this ticks like every problem player it ticks like every problem player trope except for power gaming. That's the only trope missing from this problem player. In fact, they did quite the opposite of power gaming.
Actually, it is missing one.
Oh,
It is missing another.
what metagaming?
No, there wasn't any blatant racism.
That's fair. I mean, well, no, she did call the robot, like, she did hate on robots, if that counts.
I don't think that counts.
Okay, so we're talking IRL, not in game.
Yeah, we're not talking about her like dropping a slur mid rant.
Okay, okay. So yeah, you mean IRL racism, not like
Yeah, I mean like being actually racist.
yeah. Okay, yeah, that one is also missing. So it hits damn near every trope. You got the nice guy tropes of you know, telling someone that their boyfriend, or telling someone that they would be better than the person they're currently dating. Um, like trying to get a couple
Yeah.
to break up so that they can get with the person, um, calling them ugly after being rejected. Uh, yeah, it's not good. Don't go into D&D with the intention of trying to find a partner. Like it,
Yeah.
like it that it can happen, but it's very rare to happen, and also it's very bad to if you go in with that being the intention, then you're going to be severely disappointed.
Yeah.
Biddy, do you think love could bloom on the battlefield?
Nah.
We need to play
Fuck
Metal
that.
Gear. We should play
Yeah.
Metal Gear on the channel. Maybe after Minish Cap.
Maybe. Who would play it though? Would it be me or you?
I've already beaten it, so probably you.
I've never played it before.
Yeah, so yeah, you could play it. So
Should I play?
the GameCube version.
Okay, Twin Snakes. Got it.
Yeah. Uh
All right.
Although the PS2 does have like the low poly face is the perfect reaction for you can call me Otacon. It's short for Otaku Convention. And then it's
I'm just
just
imagining the PS. I'm just imagining the PS1 face.
yeah, the PS1 snake face. uh
Yeah.
I think the PS1 version does like its graphics do give it a lot of charm, but I also think the PS2 version or not PS2, the GameCube version is really good. So
Yeah.
yeah. Don't be a fucking creep is the moral of this story. Don't
Don't be shitty.
yeah, and don't use your status as a marginalized group as a sword against people you don't like.
Yeah.
It's the same. So that's something that the Velma show is doing. If I don't know if you've seen, but the writers of the
I
Velma
try
show,
not to.
when in response to all of the very valid criticism, such as it being an overly cynical piece of garbage where none of the characters actually act like themselves, and Velma acts like the Venture Bros parody that was meant to be a funny extreme. Except the Vilma show's Vilma is doing it unironically. Uh, in response to the criticism they've been getting for the trailers, they've been saying that anyone who criticizes them is racist. Like, not in those exact words, but that's what it's boiling down to. Um,
Yeah.
Anywho, um, God, the Velma show really looks like it is something that got the Star Fox Adventures treatment, where it really looks like it was originally supposed to be its own property, but reskinned to be a more popular property for the sake of marketing. All right,
Yeah.
all right,
Unfortunate.
yeah. Your final story?
Yes, my final story. Let me refresh the page to get an accurate count. Okay, it didn't change. So, our next story is let me just quickly adjust my monitor to how I've arranged my seating.
Oh no, the nepotism actually lost a point.
Oh no.
Someone unliked
There we
it,
go.
or someone downvoted it.
There we go. Our next story is how can D&D be bad if it can't choose to be bad?
Oh
By user
boy.
Ars Torok from 2 days ago with 123 upvotes.
A lot of gold stories 2 days ago.
Yeah. This story takes place a long time ago at a local game store far, far away. I was a humble college student studying math in a quiet college town. Any and every nerd would gather at the local game store for 40k, magic, and of course, D&D. In this time period, 3.5e was bloating with splat books, and 4e was just a rumor that floated around game stores. I would hang out and do homework, play a game or two of Magic, and sit in on some D&D games and chat with friends. This is where I encountered the focus of this story. His name was Jesse, and he was a history major.
Interesting.
Jesse was new in town and quickly assimilated into our group of friends. We helped each other with homework or projects or what have you, and we would often have nice long discussions about D&D, Magic, and whatever else the day's topic was. Then one faithful day, Jesse bemoaned there were no good undead in D&D. He laid out a rather spirited tirade that all undead were by definition evil, yet soulless and incapable of decision making. Even if you have a higher level undead like a vampire, they were compelled to be evil. They had no choice. How can you be evil if you can't choose not to be evil? The universe demanded that undead be evil and that good men destroy them for it. He then tied this to a Christian idea that all good comes from God, and that what is not with God cannot be good and thus is evil.
Okay, in the Bible, God literally states that he created evil. Like, one of the verses
but,
is, I
Crusades.
create light and thus dark, I create good and thus evil. Yeah, I guess you're right. Christians don't read the Bible.
Obviously not. I unfortunately brought up the concept of the Lich, an undead whose soul was perfectly intact and unaltered. The Lich, in lore, was always evil, but a case could be made that if they had true free will and could be that they but a case could be made that they had true free will and could be good. This caused our friend Dressy to drop. This caused our friend Jesse to drop off the face of the earth for a few weeks before he suddenly returned with an armful of new books and new ideas. Jesse signs up to join every open game of 3.5 the shop has. He never seemed clingy or desperate, but he was very excited to play D&D. He joins several games, including one I'm in. It takes a while, but we eventually realize what's happening.
Is he gonna make a Lich that's good a line? Is he gonna make Jesus?
Maybe. I don't know.
Jesus is a Lich.
Jesse's character is a merchant by profession, but also very active in local politics. He's a Dampier, which is essentially a half-vampire. His mother was bitten by a vampire while carrying him, leaving him with some undead traits, yet full retention of his free will. He devoted his free time to bringing awareness to the fact that Dampiers and other suitably afflicted magical people were not monsters, but just unfortunate people trying to make their livings. He had a personal quest: to find a copy of the Tome of the Stilled Tongue. It was a powerful and forbidden book that kept the secrets to turning the reader into a lich. But Jesse intended to use it to turn himself fully human, curing his affliction and helping to bring peace between normal people and the magically cursed. He was also a necromancer. However, rather than being evil, he used his knowledge in magic to help other cursed people overcome their problems. He would use Dominate Person to overtake the mind of a raging werewolf and help them come to their senses. He would detect and identify curses and traps. He was a decidedly good person who never asked for money, and never complained when people would call him evil for practicing evil magic. He would calmly explain that there were stereotypes and that he would gladly explain.
Oh god. Sorry, that just reminds me of the post of like, would you like to talk about our Lord and Savior Dracula? It's like, Dracula? Wait, so you're a vampire? I thought vampires were evil. Oh, there are many very harmful stereotypes. Could we come in and discuss it with you?
Jesse was a good player. His role-playing was solid, he was good at combat and investigation, and never really hogged the spotlight, unless something happened that was in his wheelhouse. But then, as often happens, his character died in combat. He wasn't mad, he thanked everyone for the game, and said he'd be back next week with a new character. And so he was. Jesse's second character was a gruff cigar-smoking detective. He was a specialist that the town guard called in when spooky stuff was involved.
Columbo!
He was a Dampier. His father was an elf, but his mother was secretly a vampire. He was also a necromancer. That was his specialty. He could talk to the dead and get testimony from murder victims. He could use magic to understand things that even the most well-trained eyes could miss. He knew that others didn't like him for his magic, but he was, at his heart, a good person. His secret quest was to find a copy of the Tome of the Still Tongue. Its pages would guide him to better learning, or to guide him to learning better magic. He may go past just learning from the dead, even saving lives and stopping crime before it happened. His third character was a Dampier necromancer who needed a copy of the Tome of the Still Tongue.
Okay,
So every game was like this. He was
yeah.
in 3 of them a week at one point, and each one had this character. Mechanically, they were identical, but he had complex backstories for each one to keep them apart. Every town, every session, every opportunity he had, he looked for that damn book. We visit a new town, he goes to the local library, magic shop, wizard school, and asks for the book. We get into a dungeon. Is there a bookcase in this room? Is there any old scrolls or papers lying around? Can I search this room for any secret hiding places?
You
Ever
know,
fight any wizards or other spellcasters?
hey,
He searches everywhere, inside and out, for this book.
I want to say I'm gonna wager a guess that the magic book that can turn people into liches is probably going to be in the clutches of a lich.
Probably.
Rather than some random bookstore. Can you imagine if you just?
I mean, I don't know.
Imagine if you just
I've
walked
seen
in.
many examples. I've seen many examples where the Necronomicon is left sitting around in a public library.
Imagine if you just
Oh, I
walked
love you,
in.
Dwarf Fortress.
Okay, that's fair, but imagine if you walked into a library and there was just the Tome of Vile Darkness. You know, Vecna's diary.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right.
but you don't have to worry about that in my campaign. I know exactly where it is.
Yeah. Most of his characters died halfway through the campaign he was in, only to be replaced by the same character with a fresh face and backstory. Credit where it is due. Each backstory was unique, thought out, and fit with the game setting. But mechanically, the character was the same, down to the stat rolls. As the months moved on, Jesse never got his book. He grew more irritated and harder to play with. His excellent roleplay started to fade, to the point he only participated if something regarding undead curses or evil was involved. The DMs at the LGS, one by one, stopped letting him in their games. Eventually, one game remained. It had been going on for years. A long, spiraling story of a team of adventurers who kept saving the world from increasingly calamitous events. They started at level 1, and by the time the incident happened, they were level 18. The party agreed to take it all the way to 20. That's when, finally, the DM gave Jesse his book. Jesse's 4th character in the game finally got his evil tome. Predictably, he announced at next level that he was going to become a lich, and cited the proper prestige class from a supplement book he carried. The party didn't like this. They didn't trust him not to be evil, even when he swore to them that he would still be good. A fight quickly breaks out as Jesse declares that if the party does not accept his new lich self, they are just as evil as they claim he will become. However,
Yes.
it is 4 players against 1, and he goes down rather quickly. And so the tale of Jesse the Lich draws to a close. Except it doesn't. I heard about this fight secondhand from one of the players. 2 days later, as I'm sitting on at my usual place at the spot, Jesse walks in and meets with the DM. The DM explains he wasn't going to retcon the fight, he was not going to retcon the fight and force the other players to play with him. Instead, they were going to play themselves. Just the 2 of them. The DM would continue to be the DM, and Jesse would be alone and continue the story. Over the next few weeks, I listened into this game. I honestly feel a bit bad for eavesdropping here, but what happened never really sat right with me either. Basically, the DM just started letting Jesse do whatever he wanted. He made his lich. He beat the BBAG from the campaign single-handedly. Then he demanded nothing less than the right to be king from the kingdom that he saved. He killed the king and took his place as ruler. Then he started taking over nearby kingdoms. After the 3rd session, he stopped rolling dice and just started stating what he would be doing next. and the DM described what happened. He never failed, and mostly everything went up exactly as planned. If ever Jesse stopped to question why his latest action worked, he was told, "'Cause you're a lich." That was all. Eventually, he killed the setting's god of the undead and took his place. He insisted that since he was a good deity and was now the god of undeath, all undead are good now. It feels patronizing to me. The DM just agrees and gives him what he wants. Jesse's getting extremely excited and compassionate. As he describes what happens, the DM just nods and says, "Yep, that happens. You're so powerful it just works out. What do you do next?" He kept becoming more and more powerful and kept reworking the lore of the setting. Gods that were bitter rivals, he beat them up, then literally forced them to kiss and make up. Entire planets of people don't agree with his philosophy. He either destroys them or just makes them agree with him because he's a god. A whole plane of existence is naturally evil, just wipes it out of reality. The last
Yeah.
session I overheard started off with the DM summarizing the state of the universe. All the remaining gods are dead and consumed by him. He was now the one true god of everything. All life was dead, all magic was gone, all planes of existence were collapsed, and now there was nothing and no one and nothing at all except for Jesse the Lich. He could not possibly become more powerful because there is nothing else in all of existence but him. No more multiverse, no more other realities. Nothing but Jesse. The DM then looked Jesse right in the face and asked, "What do you do next?"
God, that's a painful, lonely existence. But also, the the DM rolled with that so well. Cause
There's more.
oh
There's
shit.
more. There's more.
All right.
Jesse tried. Jesse tried to create a new world of pure peace and love. Then he asked if the people there loved him. The DM said they did because they did not have free will and would always love him. He destroyed them all and made a new world with people who had free will. They all loved Jesse and lived in peace out of fear that he would destroy him like the last world. He destroyed them. He tried again and again to describe a perfect utopia where everyone had free will, but also loved him, and also loved him and everyone else, not out of fear, but out of pure good love. But each time, it wasn't good enough. Finally, Jesse gives up and shouts, "I destroy myself, so there's absolutely nothing left at all." The DM nods. He says, "There's nothing left in all of existence anywhere, and nothing will ever exist ever again. What do you do next?" Jesse doesn't respond. He packs up his things and leaves. We never see him in the shop again.
Oh man.
And there's more.
There's still there's
There's an
still
epilogue to this story, dear
Oh
readers.
yes. Fuck yeah, the gift that keeps on giving.
There's an epilogue to this story, dear readers. Last month, I was on Discord pulling together players for a 5e game when I stumbled across Jesse. He has a wife and a kid now and teaches high school history. He joined my game. His character has nothing to do with necromancy, undead, or anything like that.
Thank
His
goodness.
role plays back to the way it was when we met. He's a good player, and honestly, I'm glad to have him at my table. TLDR, kid really wants to be a lich. Once he finally gets what he wants, he finds out it's not all that fun.
Yeah. You know
It's
what?
a good story.
That is a really fucking good story.
That gets an upvote from me, if you ask me.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. The DM went way further than I would. I would have, like, so I would have probably just stopped with it being like, yes, you are the epitome of peace, destroying your enemies and anyone you perceive evil. Anyone who so much as thinks about anything bad about you instantly gets smited. Truly, you are the epitome of law. You know, just to rub
Epitome?
epitome.
I know,
I've heard it both ways. But yeah, and just to rub in how that's, you know, not good align. It's lawful, yes, but not good. And that's not a bad thing. Characters that are lawful evil but perceive themselves as being good are some of the best characters, in my opinion. You know? Uh,
Yeah.
I am glad this player learned their lesson. Um, that definitely must have been a really really good wake up call. Um,
Yeah.
God, he went full Yahweh on that. You know.
Yeah.
Uh, oh God, that's such a good story. You know what? I think that this is going to be one where it's not where the lesson isn't don't be an asshole. Because I don't think he was an asshole in it
I mean, sure,
necessarily.
he got kind of carried away,
Yeah, but
but to be fair, I do feel that his party cheated him.
yeah, a little bit.
They didn't trust him to not be evil, even though he said he wouldn't. So they killed him.
Yeah. But to be fair, he did end up being evil, even if he didn't perceive himself. So the real discussion here is
True.
what is good and what is evil, because it is there is no objective good, there is no objective evil. What one person sees as evil, another might see as good. Um, you know,
Yeah.
destroying entire planets and civilizations. Uh, yeah, there's the people who live there probably see that as evil, and
But you see it as a continuation in your quest of creating the perfect utopia where nothing bad ever goes wrong and everyone has free will.
but
Free
that's
will.
but that those are incompatible because of the nature of people. If you give people a choice just by the sheer number of people that there will be some that make bad choices.
Oh,
I
I have a thing to tell you about this
yeah.
after the episode.
Okay. Uh, if you give people free will just by the sheer numbers, uh, there will be people who make bad choices. That is an
Exactly.
inevitability, and
In a world with free will, someone's got to be the bad guy.
exactly. And what that means, it depends entirely on, you know, what society lives in, what the society is like, what the people grew up in, and stuff. It was like one of the it's one of the main philosophical dilemmas that was proposed in the Matrix, about because they tried to make a utopia, but in the Matrix, where everything was good, but people rejected it because, you know, people
It
will,
wasn't home.
yeah. So uh I don't think there's necessarily any moral to be learned here other than like good and evil are subjective. Like, but there's no like it's one of the few
I think the lesson here is try not to think about free will too much,
yeah, yeah,
especially your own.
yeah. Especially if you believe in multiverse where everything is just various permutations of things. Like if I make one choice, then another universe will spawn where I made a different choice. So in essence, the choice itself didn't matter because all choices would be made. My own
There's
personal
a
choice only matters in determining which branch I'm in.
there's an alternate universe for every breath you take because with every breath you take, you could just decide I'm going to hold my breath for a little bit.
Every breath you take. Yeah, and if you hold your breath long enough, you'll pass out and have seizures and permanent brain damage.
Well,
Sometimes.
typic- typically typically you'll pass out before the seizures,
But it is
and
still
when you pass
possible.
out your brain just your lungs just kind of Gah.
Yeah, but it's still possible to have seizures. So don't hold your breath, okay? That's the moral of the story. Do not hold your breath. Continue breathe. Breathe the air, don't breathe the water. Whatever you do, don't breathe the air, breathe the water. All right.
I feel like I'm missing a reference.
Uh, Thumbtanic. You remember the Thumb series?
Oh, right.
Yeah. When they're in the water, he's like, Jack's like, don't breathe the water. Breathe the air. Keep breathing the air. Don't breathe the water. Whatever you do, do not breathe the water, or do not breathe the air. Breathe the water. Like he gets mixed up.
Uh,
Uh, God damn. That series was so goddamn stupid, but it's part of my childhood. Anywho, thank you everybody for watching. There's a lot of other stuff on the channel. The last episode of Posscast, that was posted last week was very saucy. And not because of
mm,
the Cuisiner, which was 2 weeks ago, I believe. Or 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks? 2 weeks?
three,
Two.
maybe. I don't
No,
know.
two. Because last week
It
we
was
did.
in the past.
Oh no, I think it was 3 weeks ago because 2 weeks ago you did the sequel to Burning Man. Ah, that is
It
not
was
a
in the past.
ah. There we go.
What
The
happened?
Discord glitched and you became a gray square for a bit.
Ah,
You're back. There's also D&D campaigns. I have a homebrew called World of Tapir. That is the campaign where Sushi is that we mentioned. Sushi and Levere. Um,
yeah.
there is also Curse of
It's
Strahd.
pirates.
It is pirates. There is also Curse of Strahd, which Biddy and I both play in. It's being run by our friend Chalkfy. Speaking of Chalkfy, you can catch me, Chalkfy, and Biddy playing Tabletop Simulator every Thursday with Tabletop Thursdays. Um,
Yeah.
the uh, the other games are Bug Fables and Hollow Knight. Comment challenge of the day. What was your favorite character's personal quest? Like, out of all the characters you've had, what personal quest have they had that was your favorite? And
Uh,
did you achieve that goal?
well, I've only had a handful of characters, and only a couple of them have only a few of them have had active like character quests.
Ah,
Like my first character was Karlek, and his quest was, boy, once we're done saving the world, I'm gonna go back to being a traveling bard.
there was Osik, whose goal was to become a Draco Lich, right?
He was a necromancer kobold under the uh who was under the apprenticeship of a Draco Lich.
Yeah. Okay. I thought your goal was to be a Draco Lich.
So in terms of character goals, I guess Rathy was my favorite.
That makes sense. And he did achieve it.
Yeah, Rathio and his goal of his short-term goal of I must perfect my flesh by replacing it.
Shatter the flesh, reinforce the bone. Uh, my out of all the characters I've had,
He became a robot.
yeah, out of the characters I've had, I think my favorite was um probably Surazal. Uh, he's the character I played in Bev's campaign, and he was a necromancer whose goal was to bring his deity into the material plane. Uh, his deity, which knew a bunch of forbidden secrets. Plot twist: it wasn't Vecna, it was an aboleth.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. I never got the goal. I never made it to the goal in Bev's campaign because the campaign ended at like level 5, uh, and due to scheduling conflicts and stuff. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
and then the but I did put him in as an NPC in my first campaign, and he was able to summon this little baby aboleth who, I don't know if you know this, you probably do, but the audience might not. Aboleths have a perfect memory and also inherit the memories of their parents. So newborn or newly hatched aboleths know everything since pretty much the beginning of time. It's why they hate the mind flayers so much, because none of them have memories of mind flayers existing until they did, due to mind flayers coming from the future.
Yeah.
Let's see,
Well,
future or other dimension. Either way, they don't remember the creation of mind flayers, like
yeah.
they do every other being. Um,
Well, with not much left to say,
yeah, there's nothing left to say. Wait, fuck. With that out of
uh,
the way, there's nothing left to say. But good night,
that's right.
everybody.
Goodbye.